This story begins with a devastating loss, one that reminds every crypto investor that a single mistake can erase years of savings in a moment. A retired investor lost nearly $3 million worth of XRP, the cryptocurrency he had been holding as his entire retirement fund. What makes this case so alarming is not only the size of the loss, but also the simplicity of the mistake that caused it. The man, known as Brandon, had been involved in crypto for nearly a decade. Over the years, he became confident in his knowledge. He took what he thought were all the right precautions, writing down his seed phrase, storing it safely, never sharing information online, and staying away from suspicious links. But one morning, when he opened his wallet app, he faced a nightmare that every crypto holder dreads. His XRP balance showed zero. At first, he assumed it was a display glitch, something that could be fixed by refreshing the page. But as he checked deeper into the XRP ledger itself, the horrifying truth became clear. Every last coin had vanished. The blockchain doesn't lie. The transaction history showed small, almost invisible movements at first. 10 XRP here, 20 XRP there. They looked harmless, but they were the early signs of something much worse. Within minutes, a massive transfer took place, moving more than 1.3 million XRP, worth around $3 million, from his wallet to an unfamiliar address. From there, the funds were divided into smaller amounts and distributed across dozens, later hundreds, of new wallet addresses. This process, called mixing, is a common method used by hackers to conceal stolen crypto, making the trail nearly impossible to follow. Within hours, the funds were beyond reach, scattered through the blockchain in fragments too small and too widespread to recover. In a state of disbelief, Brandon began reaching out for help. His first call was to LaRoque, the company that made the cold wallet he believed was keeping his assets safe. He also contacted the FBI, his local sheriff's department, and the State Bureau of Investigation. Unfortunately, their responses were all the same. Blockchain transactions are irreversible, and without access to the hacker's private keys, there is almost nothing law enforcement can do. For Brandon, that reality hit harder than the loss itself. He had trusted the system, done everything that was advised, and still lost everything. Days turned into a blur of waiting for updates, checking emails, refreshing wallet pages, and hoping for some sign of reversal that would never come. Stories like this are not rare. At Market Insight HQ, we've seen similar cases over the years. The majority of them don't happen because of technology failing. They happen because of small misunderstandings. In Brandon's case, the cause wasn't phishing, a scam email, or a fake giveaway. It was something far simpler, a lack of clarity about how his crypto wallet actually worked. He didn't know there was a difference between a hot wallet and a cold wallet. He assumed he was storing his crypto offline in a secure, hardware-protected environment, but that assumption would become the gap that hackers exploited. This small detail, one that might seem minor to most users, was enough to expose his entire retirement fund to online threats. For the thousands of people who store their wealth in crypto, Brandon's story is a painful but powerful reminder that security is not just about owning the right tools. It's about knowing how to use them. Even the best wallet in the world can't protect you from a misunderstanding of how it functions. In the next part of this story, we'll look closer at what went wrong, how the hack unfolded, and the crucial lessons every investor should take away before it's too late. Because when it comes to crypto, owning the coins is only half the battle. The real challenge lies in keeping them safe. When investigators and security analysts began reviewing Brandon's case, it became clear that the real story wasn't about a sophisticated hack or some untraceable cyber attack. It was about a simple misunderstanding, one that cost millions. After his initial report, the wallet manufacturer responded and asked a question that would reveal the root of everything. Cold wallet or hot wallet? Brandon didn't even realize there was a difference. He had been using two devices to access his XRP, his phone and his tablet. On his phone, the app showed a blue background. On the tablet, an orange one. He never thought much of it. Both displayed the same balance, both looked secure, and both appeared to be connected to the same wallet. What he didn't know was that one of them was his cold wallet interface, while the other was the hot wallet version, the one connected to the internet. This small distinction was everything. When he set up his crypto wallet, Brandon generated his seed phrase using the cold wallet, which is the correct procedure. But later, when he installed the same wallet app on his iPad, he imported that seed phrase into the hot wallet version. From that moment on, his private keys, the critical access codes that prove ownership of his crypto, were stored on an internet-connected device. This meant that even though he believed his assets were safely offline, they were, in fact, exposed to the entire digital world. The moment malware, spyware, or a phishing link infected his device, the attacker had direct access to his funds. Experts who later analyzed the blockchain data believe that's exactly what happened. At some point, Brandon likely downloaded an app, file, or update containing hidden malicious software. This malware silently scanned his device, detected the wallet information, extracted the private keys, and transferred them to the attacker's control. From there, the hacker executed a few small test transactions to confirm access, those early 10 and 20 XRP transfers, before draining the entire balance. Once the transfer was complete, the hacker moved quickly to split the funds into multiple smaller wallets. Within minutes, the money had disappeared into an intricate network of crypto addresses, likely to be laundered or converted through decentralized exchanges. For Brandon, the emotional impact was devastating. Imagine working your whole life, saving, investing smartly, and believing you've secured your future, only to see it vanish because of one technical oversight. His loss wasn't just financial, it was deeply personal. That money represented decades of planning for retirement, comfort, and security for his family. And what made it even harder was knowing that it didn't happen because of greed or carelessness, but simply because of a misunderstanding of technology. This incident highlights a critical truth in the world of cryptocurrency. The line between safety and vulnerability is razor thin. The difference between a hot and a cold wallet isn't just a technical detail, it's the difference between protection and exposure. A cold wallet stores your private keys completely offline. It's disconnected from the internet, making it nearly impossible for hackers to access. A hot wallet, on the other hand, keeps your keys within the software of an online device. It's convenient, yes, but also open to every kind of online threat imaginable. And once those keys are compromised, the blockchain's greatest strength, its immutability, becomes the user's biggest weakness. There's no undo button, no customer support, no reversal mechanism. The transaction is permanent. At Market Insight HQ, our focus has always been on education, helping investors understand not just how to grow their portfolios, but how to protect them. Brandon's story isn't just an isolated event, it's a mirror reflecting what so many investors overlook. Owning a hardware wallet doesn't automatically mean your funds are safe. Understanding how that wallet interacts with your devices, how it stores your keys, and where the vulnerabilities lie, that's what makes the difference. Because in the digital world, even one small misunderstanding can have million-dollar consequences. Most new investors hear the terms hot wallet and cold wallet and assume the difference is minor, just another tech label in a complex system. But in reality, that difference can decide whether your crypto survives or disappears. A hot wallet is any wallet that stays connected to the internet. It can be an app on your phone, your computer, or even a browser extension. Its main advantage is convenience. You can send or receive crypto in seconds. But that convenience comes with risk because every device connected to the internet is exposed to threats, malware, phishing, spyware, or even fake app updates designed to steal private keys. A cold wallet, by contrast, keeps your keys offline. It's a small piece of hardware that never connects directly to the internet, which means your crypto's access codes remain isolated from online attackers. In Brandon's case, his confusion came from not realizing that both wallet interfaces he used, the one on his phone and the one on his tablet, looked nearly identical. Both displayed the same balance and the same account details. It's easy to see how anyone could assume they were both part of the same secure system, but one of those wallets was actually online, a gateway exposed to digital threats. The hacker didn't break through Elipal's hardware device. They didn't need to. The breach happened because the same seed phrase, the master key to the funds, was imported into an internet-connected app. That single act nullified all the security benefits of the hardware wallet. When people think of hacks, they often imagine a complex system breach or advanced code manipulation. The truth is usually far simpler. Hackers don't attack blockchains. They attack people. They exploit small habits, tiny oversights, and moments of confusion. They know that users often install the same wallet on multiple devices, copy seed phrases into notepads, or click on wallet verification links that seem legitimate. In Brandon's case, the malware that infected his device could have come from anywhere: a fake update, a harmless-looking PDF, even a browser plugin. Once the malware had his seed phrase, it had everything it needed. What this story teaches us is that security in crypto is never just about owning tools. It's about understanding them. The best hardware wallet on the planet can't protect your money if it's set up incorrectly. A simple misunderstanding, like importing a seed phrase into a hot wallet, can make an investor's assets as vulnerable as keeping them on a public exchange. And even exchanges, which seem secure, hold a dark history of collapses, scams, and hacks. Billions of dollars in user funds have been lost in the last decade because those platforms hold the keys, not the customers. At Market Insight HQ, our goal isn't to spread fear, it's to spread awareness. These distinctions, hot versus cold, online versus offline, aren't just technical trivia. They are the foundation of financial self-custody, the very principle that defines cryptocurrency. The blockchain gives you control, but that control comes with full responsibility. When you own your keys, you also own the risks. Brandon's experience proves that without education, even responsible investors can fall victim to the smallest of gaps in understanding. The tragedy is that his story isn't unique. Many experienced crypto holders make the same assumptions every day. They believe that as long as their funds appear under the same balance in the same app, everything is safe. But those matching numbers can be deceiving. They don't tell you where your keys are stored. They don't tell you whether your wallet is offline or exposed. That's the quiet danger of the digital economy. It feels simple until it's too late. When you look at the majority of crypto losses over the past decade, a clear pattern appears. It's rarely the blockchain itself that fails. It's usually human error. People often assume that hackers are always using some secret code or advanced exploit to break into wallets, but in most cases, they don't need to. They rely on people making small mistakes. Brandon's situation was one example, but the lesson applies universally. The weakest point in any crypto system isn't the technology, it's the user. Think about it. Every step in managing cryptocurrency depends on human behavior. Writing down seed phrases, storing them securely, avoiding malicious links, and double-checking apps before downloading them. Even the best encryption and hardware mean nothing if the owner unknowingly opens the door to an attacker. In Brandon's case, that door was left open when his seed phrase was imported into a hot wallet. He didn't realize that one move changed everything about his wallet's security model. It wasn't just a setup mistake, it was a complete shift from offline protection to online vulnerability. The hacker didn't have to guess passwords or bypass firewalls. They simply took advantage of access that was already exposed. The hard truth about the crypto space is that many investors still underestimate how sophisticated cybercrime has become. Attackers design websites, ads, and mobile apps that look exactly like legitimate platforms. They send emails pretending to be from wallet providers or exchanges, urging users to verify their keys or restore their wallets. Once the victim enters their information, the damage is done. Unlike traditional banking, there's no recovery department, no fraud hotline, and no way to reverse the transaction. The blockchain's strength, its immutability, is also its greatest weakness when it comes to human mistakes. At Market Insight HQ, our analysis over the years shows that education is the single most effective defense. Yet most users spend hours researching which coin to buy, but only minutes understanding how to store it. That imbalance is why stories like Brandon's keep happening. The emotional side of investing, fear of missing out, excitement, trust in convenience, often outweighs the discipline needed for security. People are quick to adopt new technology, but slow to learn its risks. That's why so many rely on exchanges or wallet apps that claim to handle everything for them. But as we've seen, convenience in crypto almost always comes at the cost of control. It's also important to remember that user-friendly design can be deceptive. A sleek interface or matching balances across devices can create a false sense of security. When Brandon saw identical numbers in both his apps, it reinforced the illusion that everything was synchronized safely. But behind that simple layout, one system was isolated offline, while the other was fully exposed to the internet. It's a small design oversight, but one with million-dollar consequences. This isn't unique to one company or one wallet brand. It's a widespread problem in the crypto industry, technology evolving faster than user understanding. The psychological toll of such losses is something rarely discussed in market analysis. Losing money through a bad investment is one thing. Losing it through a security mistake feels entirely different. It comes with guilt, disbelief, and the haunting realization that it could have been prevented. Brandon's loss wasn't due to market volatility or poor timing. It was the result of confusion, and that's what makes it more painful. For every investor who loses funds this way, there are countless others who narrowly avoid the same fate without ever realizing how close they came. In the broader context, Brandon's experience is a wake-up call for the entire crypto community. Security can't be treated as an afterthought. It has to be the foundation of every investment decision. Owning cryptocurrency is like being your own bank, but that also means you're your own security team. No one can recover your keys if you lose them, and no one can stop a transaction once it's sent. The responsibility lies entirely with the individual. The simplest way to think about crypto security is this: your money is only as safe as the keys that control it. Whoever holds the private keys owns the assets, and that's true whether it's you, an exchange, or a hacker. Brandon's experience illustrates this perfectly. Once his keys were compromised, there was no appeal, no recovery process, and no reversal. The blockchain did exactly what it was designed to do. It validated and confirmed the transaction permanently. That immutability is what makes crypto powerful, but it also makes it unforgiving. This is why the first rule every investor should understand is that self-custody demands self-discipline. If you choose to hold your own assets, you must also take full responsibility for protecting them. Many people assume that hardware wallets make them invincible, but that's only true if they're used correctly. The cold wallet itself is secure, but the process of setting it up can introduce vulnerabilities. Downloading the wrong companion app, using a compromised device, or accidentally importing a seed phrase into an online wallet are all mistakes that can render even the most secure hardware useless. In Brandon's case, the wallet wasn't the problem. It worked exactly as intended. The issue was user setup and the lack of clarity about how hot and cold systems interact. This is a reminder that technology alone can't guarantee safety. Understanding it can. One of the most practical lessons here is that before you ever transfer money into a wallet, Take time to understand where your private keys are stored. In a cold wallet, they live on a piece of hardware that remains offline. Transactions are signed within that device, and only the signed message, not your keys, ever touches the internet. In a hot wallet, the keys sit directly on the phone or computer's memory. If that device gets infected or accessed remotely, your funds are effectively gone. That's why experts advise keeping only small trading amounts in hot wallets and storing long-term holdings in cold ones that never connect to the internet. Another key practice is maintaining isolation. The device you use to access your cold wallet should never be the same one you use for everyday browsing, downloads, or social media. This reduces the chances of accidentally exposing your wallet to malicious software. Likewise, your seed phrase should never be photographed, typed, or stored digitally in any form. It should be written down, stored offline, and ideally divided into parts placed in separate secure locations. Even the smallest digital record of that phrase can be stolen. Education is also critical. Crypto moves fast, and new scams evolve daily. Many of them don't rely on breaking code, but on breaking trust. Fake websites and social media accounts imitate real projects, offering airdrops, staking rewards, or verification links. One click on a fake site can trigger a wallet connection request that, once approved, gives full control of your funds to an attacker. The only defense against this kind of social engineering is awareness. Double-check URLs, download apps only from verified sources, and never connect your wallet to a site you don't fully trust. At Market Insight HQ, we've seen that even experienced investors underestimate how creative hackers have become. Attackers study user habits and target moments of distraction. A late-night portfolio check, a quick download on a new device, a pop-up that looks harmless. That's why the best security system isn't just hardware or software, it's mindset. Treat every online interaction with the assumption that it could be a threat and act accordingly. Brandon's loss, as tragic as it is, carries lessons that can protect countless others. His story proves that the gap between safety and loss isn't luck, it's preparation. You don't need to be a cybersecurity expert to stay safe, but you do need to be careful, deliberate, and informed. In our next and final segment, we'll pull together everything this story has taught us and outline a clear, actionable approach to protecting your crypto in 2025 and beyond. Because knowledge is your best form of insurance in the digital economy.